Hi everyone, I'm Angela. Welcome and welcome back to Angela's Fashion Mix. I hope you've had a fantastic day and thanks as always for being here. If you are new, I welcome you to the channel. I also invite you to take a look at prior videos and get a feel for what goes on here at Angela's Fashion Mix. Mostly it's fashion, periodically a DIY, which is what this video is, and some lifestyle here and there. So I hope you enjoy the content and thank you for being here. And if you have not subscribed, I would appreciate you subscribing. This is part two of two videos, and I have covered a cushion for a new bench that we recently acquired. I have been looking for about a year or so, trying to find the bench. We had shopped retail, we've gone to stores that we purchased furniture from before, we've looked at secondhand, we've looked at the marketplace, we've been kind of looking at a variety of things. And I don't know, 3 weeks to a month ago, we found a bench secondhand, and it's a Pier 1 bench. I absolutely love it. And I was looking for something with dark wood. I was looking for something that was solid in terms of the construction. This is a wicker and wood bench. It again is by Pier 1. So I felt like it was a fantastic buy. And the downside was it did not come with the bench. Now, initially, that was probably a downside, but because it would have been an upholstered cushion, I'm probably better having not had that. We would have just had to gone through some major cleaning kind of situation if that had been the case. The part one video, which I do hope you take a look at, is how I measured, cut the foam, that kind of thing to create the right size for the bench. This video, I am sewing the fabric for the cushion. So my bench is complete. It has been tested and I absolutely love it. And I just wanted to share that with you all. I was asked if I would do a tutorial on the bench. So part one is a bit more in depth, I guess, because there's a lot of cutting. There is just a precision in terms of how to get to the measurements. But this was the sewing part. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. I always appreciate that. Thank you so very much always for watching the videos and for just tuning in to what's going on here. And I thank you all so very much for your support. I look forward to meeting you all that are planning to come to the meet and greet. If you are new and you have not heard, I periodically have live sales here on the channel, and that's a couple to 3 times a month. It just depends. Typically they are on a Tuesday, sometimes a Thursday, but this is where I make the announcement for the upcoming sale, and there will be one on Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I do look forward to seeing you all there, and until then, thank you for watching my shorts, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. So I showed you what was requested as a tutorial of sorts in part one of how I started the process cutting the foam. Part two in this video is actually me getting my fabric measured and cut. So this is the total cover of the fabric. I am not, as I aforementioned, adding piping. It's just going to be a fabric cover on the cushion. So I'm probably going to skip some details just for time's sake, but you'll get the gist of how I do this. This is by no means a professional project, but just to kind of give you an idea. So because this is a personal project, not something I'm doing for someone, I may cut some corners. The easiest route that I can to get the cover done. Should be 6 pieces for the 6 sides. So that's what I'm going to be working on. I'm going to show you the first few cuts, and then I will be sewing this on a regular Kenmore sewing machine. I may have to change the needle. I'll know that once I get started, but I am prepared for that. So this has a backing on it, and this is a chenille fabric. There is a small bit of texture, and again, this is covering a bench. And I'm hoping to do one cut for 2 pieces. That is the plan. That should not be an issue. I feel like I'm in a fabric store. So I am going to weight this so that there is no slip while I'm working. So all that I am using for this project is a tape measure, of course. I have Velcro. I mentioned that I wanted to, of course, have an opening for if I want to change the cover. So I decided to use Velcro. I'm going to Velcro the opening on one side. And I got this at Joann. And in the mention of Joann's, if they're in your area, of course, they may be closing at different times. But if you are in the Midlothian, Richmond, Virginia area, Westchester is closing in 8 days. So they should be gone in the next week and a half or so. So I got the Velcro. It was $6.99 for 5 yards. And I believe it was 60% off. Something like that. And I'm using Scotch tape. So I'll show you what I'm doing with the Scotch tape. And I picked up another pair of scissors. I actually bought these when I was there, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks ago. And they were not marked down as much then. I think these were 25% off then. So I picked up another pair and they were now 60% off. So I have 2 new pair of scissors. So what I have done thus far is cut out the one piece that I'm going to make 2 pieces for the top and the bottom. So I've got a fold here. And this is where I'm going to cut along the fold for the top and the bottom layer. So I just keep that straight. Just got it weighted on one end where I'm going. So I don't have to play with that too much. And there are my 2 pieces. Before I go further, I'm going to go in and measure this on the bench to make sure we're good. I bought a little extra for mistakes, but we are good. The measurements are good for the top and the bottom layer. Now I am going to cut for the 5-inch sides for the height of the 4 sides. So again, I'm going to cut in layers, so I'll cut both at the same time. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this longer width first. The good thing is this is pretty much done for me because it's already cut to the measurement of the other pieces. I went up a little bit further, so just need to measure out for the width on the sides. So again, I'm going to weight this on the end. Just makes it a little bit easier for my cut. I'm going to take my yardstick again. So that is that. This is my 2 pieces for the front and back edge. So the only thing left is the 2 edges towards the wall. And we'll be done with the cuts. I intentionally purchased extra fabric. And I purchased the extra because I wasn't sure if I was going to do the tufting or not. So I just wanted to make sure I had enough fabric in the event I did that. And if I did not, I'm prepared to use this for something else. So we are done with this piece. I have cut out my sides. So there's one thing about this. Because I'm going to do a Velcro closure, I gave a lot of space for the seam allowance on this portion. So we're going to have to play that by ear because I've got to measure for the width of the Velcro. And we're going to be just kind of playing with that as we go along. So the idea is that with the Velcro, I'm going to slide the cushion into this pocket, and the Velcro opening will be on one end. That's the plan, to get this on this cushion. One seam. So I'm going to go and steam this a little bit so that the seam lays a bit flatter, and I'm going to steam it with the open seam. I'll be back. So I now have a top portion. I have two sides. Side one. So when that folds, you can see what's happening here. So once that folds, I'll have the top and two sides. Now I'm going to attach the bottom. I'm going to attach that portion, and then I will press the seams so they lay flat. So I'm just got a little triangle off on the corners to minimize bulk in the pocket there in the corner. So I'm going to do that in a few. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and attach this fourth side. So what I found with this particular piece of fabric is I'm not having to be concerned with the grain, whether or not it's going the right direction on sides versus tops or any of that. So I don't have to take time so much to line things up. So this is the Velcro. This is a sew-on and sticky back fastener, so you can put it in place where you want it. It makes it a lot easier to sew it. But it has a pretty secure fit, so depending on where you use it, you may not need to stitch it. I think I'm going to stitch it because of where it's going on a bench, and there'd be constant pressure kind of on that area. So I think I'm just going to put a few stitches in it in a couple places. Just kind of hold it in. So $6.99. I think this was 60% off. And this is how it comes on the roll. So it has this sticky back. And we're going to run that along the sides. We're going to run that, I've already taped. And I'm going to run this along the length here. And this is going to be one side. Now I'm going to stitch this, but it's going to be, this is where I'm going to add the Velcro. This is how we're looking thus far. And this is the side. So I'm going to put the Velcro strip along here. Hope you get the gist of what I'm saying. So I have this stitched edge, which is a fold here. Once I put this on the cushion, there'll be a folded up side and there will be a folded down side. So what should happen is I'll put one part of the Velcro here. I'll put the other part on the opposite side, and when this folds over, they will connect. And I'm going to put it on the bench so that this folds down toward the seat versus overlapping up. So that's the plan. Here is the finished product with my covered cushion for my bench. I love it. And I'm going to add a couple of pillows. I don't know if they'll stay, but we're just going to play with those and see how that works in conjunction with the rest of it. But that might be an option. Or I may get something totally different. I'm not sure at this point. But I'm very happy with how this came out. I've sat on it. I've tried it. My husband sat on it. It feels good. And I'm quite pleased with myself and how this came out. Would I do this again? Absolutely. I don't have another bench project in mind, but if the need arises, I now know I can do this myself. Thank you so very much for watching.